The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Touchdown! Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now, your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrick Walker, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's time for another off-season edition of Talkin Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome in to the SWBC studios at the Star in Frisco. We're ready here over the next 45 minutes to run down everything you need to know about the Cowboys off-season right here from the world headquarters.
45 of them things.
Yeah, 45 minutes. We got it all done. Chris Beam in the back. We've got Isaiah Stanback, Patrick No-C Walker. I'm Kyle Yeomans. How's everybody doing?
Fantastic. Oh.
Man, it's been a great week of sports, right?
It has. It's been magnificent.
Awesome week of sports.
Oh, my goodness.
Because you talk about not only did March Madness come to a conclusion, we had both Final Fours, both of which were in Texas, one in Houston for the men. The women were here in Dallas, and it was awesome.
Dope.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the
what an
women's
event.
final was ridiculous.
Super cool. I mean, you talk about Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. There's controversy there, but honestly, that's competitive.
Oh, yes.
I just
I
love
loved
watching them compete.
every ounce of that trash
Two of the
talking.
best
in both
players.
directions. Yes.
Two of the best players.
Talk your trash, man.
Since when is it a sin to talk trash?
Talk your trash, man.
I don't know.
Get out of here.
This world is so sensitive now. I'm sorry.
Call it what it is.
If you don't,
Call it, no.
Yeah,
Use
say,
the word.
say the
Soft.
word that you wanted to
Soft.
say.
Soft. Thank you.
SAWFT. Soft. It's so. I mean, like, I don't know what neighborhoods people grew up in, so I can't speak to that of which they're culturally inclined to. But in my culture that I grew up in, and I'm not talking about race, I'm just talking about culture. Okay,
Environment.
Yeah, the environment I was in, right?
Yeah.
You talk smack. And like I tell my daughter, I told her in the middle of the game the other day, they were losing 1-0. And I saw her head start to go down and the rest of her team. I said, hey. I called her out in the middle of the game. She turned and looked at me. I said, do you like the results? She was like, no. I said, then change it.
Yep.
Change it.
Yep.
If you don't like the results, change it. If you don't want somebody talking smack, change the results so they can't talk smack. Because guess what? People don't talk smack when they're losing.
Yep.
That's not what happens.
No, you're right.
Right? So, like, talking smack is a pride thing. And, yeah, there's sportsmanship and all the other jazz. You can talk smack and still have sportsmanship.
And shake hands after
And shake
the
hands
fact.
afterwards. But as long as we're competing between these lines, I ain't your friend.
It's on.
I'm not your friend. And if me talking smack gets in your head and brings your game down, then guess what? That's strategy, Kyle.
That's the exact point of talking smack. That's why, let's see, Michael Jordan talks smack, Tiger Woods talks smack, Charles Barkley talked all the smack. All of these great competitors, Tom Brady,
Talks
Aaron Rodgers,
Ton.
the list goes on, and it transcends genres. Go to Formula One. How much trash talking gets?
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
NASCAR. I mean, it transcends all sports.
Yep.
Trash talking is a rite of passage. I tell my kids, I trash talk to my kids when we're doing just
Absolutely.
small things.
We trash talk in here.
In
to each
here.
other.
In here. Who makes it to the car first when we're going to the grocery store? Oh, you're so slow. Pick it up. My thing is, make sure you back it up. If you can back it up,
Come on, man.
talk it.
And both of those ladies could back it up.
Absolutely.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese
Talk
could back
it.
it up. So,
And even more so, be able to, and this is the big thing, be able to take what you dish out. That's the key thing. So Caitlin, much respect to her, arguably or maybe inarguably the best player in the country, okay? She's talking the smack. She was the one doing it.
You put it out,
She
you got to
did
be
it
able
to
to take it.
She was the one doing
You
it.
put it out,
you
you
got
gotta
to be able to
take
take it. So kudos to her because with all of this
She didn't say
backlash
nothing.
going against
No, I think she
Caitlin
did
didn't
take
say
it.
Yeah, Caitlin didn't say a word. You know why? Because she's a competitor and she
that's what
gets
comes
it.
with it.
And she gets it.
That's what comes with it.
So if the competitors get it, what are the spectators
you know
getting
what?
so
We're
riled
in
up about?
cancel culture.
Man,
That's
listen.
what we're in now. 2022, 2023.
Listen, bottom line,
cancel culture, man.
Bottom line, play a sport and be good at it, and you'll understand why talking. Matter of fact, be good at anything, and then you can talk trash. Be good at business. Talk your trash about being good at business. Be the best.
I know
service-
people who talk mess about spreadsheets.
I'm telling you,
my spreadsheet's better than yours.
talk your trash. Talk your trash. Let's go.
All my sales connect.
It's fun. Let's go.
This wasn't exactly the road I wanted to go down, but I'm glad we
I'm
went
sorry.
down
Let's
it.
go.
No,
Talk
but
your
I'm
trash.
gonna do my job here, and I'm gonna translate it back to the Cowboys. You said something. What you said to your daughter. You said, if you don't like the outcome,
Change it.
change it.
Fact.
Change it. That's what the Cowboys are trying to do this offseason.
Absolutely
They
they
didn't
are.
like the outcome.
They did not.
Cowboys Nation did not like the outcome of what happened against San Francisco. In the past, there's been a track record of not changing it, of just floating along. It feels like that's different. It feels like that's come to a head, and you're like, okay, now it's time to really,
Sound like Double
really
J's
go
over
after
it.
this. Exactly. Sounds like they are over it. They were ready to roll, which opens the door for the NFL draft. And part of the reason why I mentioned the great sports that are happening, because there was basketball, there was baseball coming back. Opening day was
yes.
outstanding. The Rangers were killing it, for at least against the Phillies.
Thank you, Rangers.
Yeah, there
by
you go.
The way.
Yeah, all for you.
From a Braves
They
fan.
did it for you.
Yeah.
And then you had like IndyCar, NASCAR trucks, whatever. You had so much sports in
Got the
Dallas.
Stars clinching the Stanley
Stars?
Cup playoff berth.
No doubt. But guess what?
All right, Seattle's right behind you.
It's draft.
Behind.
It's draft season.
Maybe in the first round.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not scared of the Kraken.
It's okay. We
Seriously.
just won the last game we played against you guys.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. We're not. See, there's the trash talk.
I was
happening.
gonna say,
Yeah,
come get
there's
some.
the
Come
trash
get
talk.
some
hope
more.
they see each
Come
other
get
in the
some
first
more.
round. I
Come get
hope
some more.
they see each other in the
Come
first
get
round.
some more.
But it's draft season. All of this is happening, but it's still NFL draft season all the way across the board. And the Cowboys are welcoming in prospects all this week. I mean, we're in the middle of 30 visits. We have 15 players
In the
across the way
building. Yeah.
right now
Yeah.
as we're speaking. I walked by Will McClay's office on the way in here. He's got a player in there. Dan Quinn's over there. Whole scouting department's up. They're all running around. They're all
there's
getting
a lot of people
everybody.
walking around.
It is an exciting time of year. So with that being said, we're going to talk a lot of draft in this episode. We're going to talk some of the needs, where the Cowboys could go, how much have they covered their bases to allow themselves an opportunity to go play best player available. But we're going to talk about that later on. First, let's start with some news and notes.
I was about to say, I can't wait for news and notes because we've been waiting on this news to come through.
We
for a long
have,
time.
and it's not. The length of news and notes is not as robust as it was past couple of weeks, which is because the Cowboys were knocking it out the park the last 2 or 3 weeks in free agency. But as things start to dwindle down, they only had a couple of loose ends to try to tie up, one of which, Jonathan Hankins, we talked about last Tuesday, that the Cowboys were actively closing in on getting a deal done with Jonathan Hankins.
Indie face.
And one day later, they did. Jonathan Hankins is back with the Dallas Cowboys, re-signed on a 1-year deal. So the veteran, big-bodied nose tackle that devours 2 and 3 guys at one time in the middle of that defensive line, he's back. And that is fantastic for the Cowboys. Not to be understated, cannot be overstated, his importance on that line. So the Cowboys, they were also actively trying to get Carlos Watkins back. You can't keep them all. Carlos Watkins did have a deal on the table, and he opted for a fresh start with the Arizona Cardinals on a 1-year deal. So they did lose Carlos Watkins. Stings a bit if you understand the impact of Carlos Watkins in that it's also bigger than his stat line. But the exclamation point for me is Jonathan Hankins coming back on a 1-year deal, which not only provides them insurance at the nose tackle, it gives them a starter. I mean, they have their starter back at the nose tackle position.
Yeah, that's a starter on defense. You added 2 starters via trade with Cooks and Gilmore. Right now, if you had to play a game today, you have every position covered. You have every single position along the way. You got your wide receiver core, you got the running back, hopefully. I mean,
No
I guess not
gaping
today.
holes.
Not today with Tony Pollard and the injury, but you at least have Ronald Jones, who's somebody that could happen. That's probably the one area, right?
We don't know about you, but yet we'll find out. And the goal is for him to come in and show himself at left guard and hopefully be that for the Cowboys. But until we know, we don't know. So as we have this conversation, we don't know, so that's still a gaping hole.
And you've got your linebackers, depth-wise, I think your linebackers.
Yeah. Behind Damone Clark, you have a ton of question marks. You got Leighton and you got Damone, and those are your solids.
Yep.
Behind them, obviously, Anthony Barr remains a free agent, but you talk about Malik Jefferson, Devontae Bond, Harp. I mean, these are practice squad guys. Jabril Cox needs to step up and show his game, and he understands that. Now he'll have a lot more time removed from that torn ACL. The Cowboys are going to expect him to be an impact player, but again, that's still a question mark. The only two linebackers that you're confident in right now is Leighton Vander Esch and Damone Clark. So at the top of your depth chart at linebacker, you're golden. You feel fantastic. Once you get to LB3 and below, especially considering you lost Luke Gifford to the Tennessee Titans, you're not feeling great. So that's a position as well that needs to be addressed.
2011, 2013, 2014. Then you go to 2022. Every one of those years, the Cowboys took an offensive lineman in the first round. Took an offensive lineman, Tyler Smith. Last year, you would double dip, much like you did in 2013, 2014. You took Travis Frederick and Zach Martin. And that was a center.
How'd that work out?
And that was a guard.
Worked out pretty
darn good, didn't it?
Good.
So, are you? I'm asking you guys. I know most of Cowboys Nation is okay with it. Are you okay with taking a guard at 26 for the second straight year?
Yep.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because you need it.
Well, first of all, the guard you took last year is technically your left tackle.
It's going to be your tackle, right?
So if you look at it from that perspective alone, you're not taking a guard technically back to back. You took your future left tackle, and then you hopefully are getting your future left guard.
And you need it.
So absolutely. And you need it.
So I know you guys have kind of started diving in and looking at these prospects.
Like Trey Songz.
Yeah. Which there's two names there, and we've mentioned this a couple times. There's two names there. Steve Avila from TCU is one of the names, but probably the most likely name is Osiris Torrance out of Florida. Which one of those two guys do you like better? Which one of those
I honestly like
you want?
Avila better. And you know, I'm on record as saying that a few weeks ago, while Torrance was already getting some interest from the Cowboys at the Combine. We confirmed that with him at the Combine. And we talked about it here recently. You could go either way and I'd be fine with that. I think I'm 51-49 toward Avila, though. But I would toss a third name in there, maybe not as a first rounder, but someone to consider after the first round would be Mafi out of UCLA. So that's an interior offensive lineman that the Cowboys might be interested in, probably at this point. If he's not already in the building for the official 30, might be before the draft arrives.
As far as my knowledge goes, I do not think he's a 30 visit. Mafi is.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But a name to keep an eye on, but not for a first rounder. Something after the first round. Yeah. But for first rounders, I'm 51-49 Avila. It's something about that kid, that TCU kid. I love what he does. And this is also speaking from, a Dogs fan, a UGA alum. And I know we did what we did to TCU, but I was looking at guys like Avila to see how they would perform and to see what their morale would be, what their motor would be once the score began to kind of get out of hand. And he just kept going. He kept motoring. And that's the kind of kid that, you would want on your offensive line. He mauls. He gets the job done. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. And he's difficult to move. So I'm here for that.
That's Antonio Mafi out of UCLA. Yeah. A little. I like that because if you don't go with one of those two guards early, Torrance or Avila, you're probably pigeonholing yourself into either trying to move a guy from tackle again, or you're taking a guy later.
Right.
You're not gonna. And the guys later are not that great. I'm just going to say it how it is. The interior offensive linemen in this class are not great.
Do you have a problem or concern with Mr. Osiris Torrance's size?
I have a concern on the way that he played heavy. I don't have a concern if he can continue to trim down and to lean up. And he has been. His playing weight at Florida was listed at 346. 346 is a lot. It's a lot for him to carry on that frame. Because he's a big
Nate
dude.
Newton.
Yeah, but he didn't move as well as Nate did. Let's say it that way.
Okay.
He's down to 330 as late as the Combine. So the last time he was measured in officially, he was 330. So he's already dropped 16 pounds, which is a significant difference. You can see it in his frame. If he can continue to lean up, I don't have a problem with it.
What do you want to see him at the guard position, weight-wise? He's 6'5" now.
320, 325.
Yeah, that's
low
that's
320s.
That's go.
And I'm all in. Give me Osiris Torrance at 26 and let's ride this puppy. Because he's a great run blocker. It's whenever he gets in the pass sets that he labors. He's got heavy feet. You usually want to see quick feet, heavy hands. He's got quick hands, heavy feet. So it's backwards. You don't want it that way. I want to see him trim down a little bit. Maybe that'll help with the feet. His power is there. He's got heavy hands. He's got that power. I think there's a way that he gets better, and it's just by leaning up.
See, from conversations with Nate and other former offensive linemen, it's easier to teach run blocking than it is to teach pass blocking. So if you have the ability to pass set and have good feet, and you're a big boy, it's a lot easier for your brand new offensive line coach to teach you how to go ahead and be a big nasty and get down there and move some guys out the way when it comes to the running game. So if you had the choice looking at it from that perspective, I'd much rather have somebody who's fully confident in their pass blocking abilities than in their their run blocking and having to teach them how to protect number 4.
Yeah. Torrance and Tyler Smith have a couple similarities. I mean, Torrance is a bigger human than Tyler Smith was, and he doesn't move as well as Tyler Smith does, which kind of shows that he's going to be a guard in the NFL.
Inside, right.
He's not going to play outside. He's not going to play tackle.
Put him in a box.
Exactly. Put him in a phone booth and let him ride. Yeah. But strength, they have double plus strength, plus strength. Whereas movement-wise, that's where there's a bit of a concern. So having both of those guys as your future left side of your offensive line, does that concern you at all because they're very similar in the way that they play? Does that mean that you have just a full-fledged weakness on that side of the offensive line for your future moving into the next couple of years?
I wouldn't view it like that simply because I'm super confident in the athleticism of Tyler.
Okay.
And I feel like what we saw from Tyler Smith in year 1, as far as from an athletic standpoint, that wasn't it. Like there's more room to grow there, and that should terrify. Right, but wait, there's more. But that should terrify some opposing edge rushers. Seeing this young man going into year 2 already having displayed the athleticism that he displayed in year 1, being able to flex in from guard to left tackle and do whatever they need. And then at left tackle, yes, he had some penalty issues with his hands getting a little grabby, but once he solves that penalty issue, I'm not worried at all about Tyler Smith's athleticism. I think that would help keep Torrance out of trouble. So I think those two players will be great together. I'm still 51-49 on Avila because of that particular thing. If we're talking about athleticism, I think Avila is more athletic than Torrance.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think he can move his mass better, quicker, and he has more control of it at the point of attack than Torrance. Now, does that mean that he's light years beyond? I wouldn't say that. I think the 51-49 for me goes to the athleticism, but also because, as we're talking about, Torrance has too much mass right now. So you don't want him to get too lean because you want him in the phone booth, but at the same time, you don't want him lumbering either.
No, and as I'm looking at these guys, Torrance, when you think about it in context, is actually smaller than Avila currently because he's more stretched out. He's 6'5",
you mean
330.
Frame-wise.
He's 6'5", 330.
He's saying frame-wise.
Versus Avila is 6'3", 330.
Frame-wise, true story.
So he's more compact. He's more of a fire hydrant than even Torrance is.
No, you're right. And if you were to slim down with Torrance, it would even be a little bit more so spread out. So, yeah, and I would agree
Avila
with
moves better.
I would agree with you in terms of Avila.
Yeah, Avila moves better.
I have
It's easier to get underneath Torrance based off of height.
Correct.
Just saying.
So you're talking about leverage then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about stuffing 330 into a 6'3" frame instead of a 6'5" frame.
Yeah.
It's a major difference.
The way the scouting report that I have on Avila, I said athletic and versatile up front, plays with a strong base and does not get out-muscled by anybody, moves well for somebody his size and has good balance on the move, footwork is clean, and he can seal a block well whenever he's run blocking. Not polished with his hand technique. So I wasn't impressed with his hands whenever I was watching. I watched Georgia. I'm just going to let you say go Dogs there.
Go Dogs.
There you go. Kansas, Michigan,
this moment.
Oklahoma. Yeah, I appreciate it. But, yeah, Kansas, Michigan, Oklahoma. So I watched him against a couple different fronts. And the strength is there, but his punch is often off balance and inaccurate. Whenever he's having to reset his hands, he has trouble. Okay. So there was times when he gets wiped away, and he has trouble resetting, grabbing again, and making it happen.
Who are you more confident in getting out on the edge?
Getting out on running-wise? Ooh, that's tough.
Avila.
Because I think Torrance is a hell of a run blocker.
I'm talking about pulling.
Yeah.
Pulling, it'd probably be Avila.
There you go.
So I grade on a 7-point scale. That's what I've done, and it's different for each point is what I kind of feel like they fit into from a rookie standpoint and then a developmental standpoint. I have Torrance as a second-round grade, which is a 5.9. I have Avila as a second-round grade. I have it as a 5.8.
We're
So
right
it's
there.
right
yeah,
there.
So you're
I mean,
like
they're touching
51-49.
tags.
Torrance, I'm 51-49.
If either one of those guys is a first-round pick, I'm okay with it. Because especially at 26, we talked about it before.
That's
you
an
have
early second-round pick.
50.2,
You have 80 to 20 first-round grades on your board.
Right.
And depending on what they think across the way, they may think Avila is a first-round grade.
I get it, yeah.
They may think Torrance is a first-round grade. I'm okay with both of those guys. Are they my favorite player across the board? Probably not. There's probably going to be a first-round player there. So that's when I think the conversation would happen. But we'll continue to have the Avila and
Darnell
Torrance battle. Yeah, maybe.
Darnell Washington.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about
Go Dogs.
We've hit the first round. Let's talk about some later round picks and some picks that might surprise you. Some under the radar possibilities for this Cowboys team when we come back right after this on Talkin Cowboys.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America NA, Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, you can get ready to welcome in a new draft class with the 2023 New Era Draft hats that are available now. Grab yours at the nearest pro shop or log on to DallasCowboys.com, a Fanatics experience. Before we get into the second segment and we move on from the first round possibilities for the Cowboys, I want to hit the stat that this is according to Pro Football Focus. I was talking about the pass set ability of O'Cyrus Torrance, and I gave it a bit of a knock because sometimes he does labor with the feet. But through 3,000 total snaps, he didn't allow a single – or excuse me, I'm going to take it back. That was through his career. His career was 3,000 snaps. Through his 1,500 pass blocking snaps –
that's right.
he had 0 career sacks allowed.
Wow. I'll tell you what, that's productive.
Now, it's from a guard position, so it's different. Remember, guard sacks and tackle sacks are completely different.
It's important, though, Kyle.
But it is important to note that when he is in the game, there were 0 sacks allowed by him in 1,500 pass blocking sets throughout his Florida career.
I like it a lot.
So that's with Torrance. So even though we're knocking his pass blocking, there's still a pretty darn good
and the most dangerous
there.
guys in the NFC East and the defensive line come from the interior.
Yes, they do. At least that's what we've been taught by Zach Martin. Thank you very much, Zach Martin. All right, let's talk about some of these second or third round guys. Day 2. We're going to hit day 2 here. Any position, let's say they do go offensive line in the first.
Yep.
What is the potential of what you could see in the second round?
Linebacker.
Okay.
Is that what you like?
Like it.
Okay.
Fair. I wouldn't be mad at that.
I would be very happy.
I would.
Because you know what? The Dallas Cowboys have positioned themselves very well for the draft.
And you got to love it.
Tell me about it.
In recent years, the Dallas Cowboys have went into the draft with gaping holes at multiple positions.
Okay.
That they need to address through the draft.
And there were a couple times that they covered their bases, but you're right. Starter-wise, you didn't have them.
You're right. Now, they have been able to retain, as we just mentioned at the top of the hour, they were able to retain majority of their starting roles. So now, aside from the one offensive line position that you can address most likely at 26, now you're just playing with house money. Okay? You definitely need to address the linebacker position because of depth, right? But guess what? You have picks so that you can do that. Right? And you're not worried about it. You're not worried about getting your guy or a quality player with your second-round picks. You have options. Okay? They're not stealing linebackers like that in this draft. Okay? So you address your offensive line, and now guess what? Now let's go ahead and grab ourselves a linebacker, and then we can just see wherever else we want the next best player.
And you're hunting traits.
You're just hunting at that point, right? I'm just shooting whatever flies across my table. Okay? That looks good. But you don't have a need beyond that point.
Okay.
You have likes. You have wants. Needs are something totally different. Teams that have needs going into the draft, multiple needs, are in a bad position when it comes to the draft, I believe, because now they're just watching their guys get picked off, and then you get desperate.
I feel like you could get, and you're not wrong, and I'll preface this by saying I would be completely fine if it was linebacker in the second round. I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd applaud because we just talked about the depth issue behind Damone Clark and Leighton Vander Esch. But I would also be pleased if it were a tight end being selected in the second round. And here's why. And for those that are saying, what's weird to me is, in the Twitter's verse, they're saying, well, we don't have a need at tight end. Well, yeah, you do.
Yes, you do.
And they're saying, well, even without Dalton Schultz, we don't have a need. Well, yeah, you do. Because not entirely dissimilar from the linebacker situation, you got two guys that you're all in on. You're all in on Jake Ferguson. You're all in on Peyton Hendershot. What you got behind that? And
or in front of it.
And when I pose that question, it's crickets and tumbleweed, right? So therein lies your issue. So for me, I look at a guy, and you could call it bias, whatever the case may be. If Darnell Washington is still there in the second round, which is possible because I don't think that there's going to be this mad run on tight ends in the first round. And there's a lot of capable tight ends. There'll
probably be 3 or 4 tight ends.
Right. This tight end depth looks really good.
Before 58.
Yeah, before 58. It looks pretty good at the top of that prospect pool. So it's possible that when you go on the clock in the second round that a guy like Darnell Washington will still be there. And if he is, I'd love his fit. And I'm not saying that from the aspect of a Georgia fan, outside of knowing what his film looks like because I watched him play every single snap in Athens. I'm saying that from a pure fit standpoint. Jake Ferguson is your do-it-all guy, okay? He's the guy that's going to come in and hopefully be equal or better than Dalton Schultz. Peyton Hendershot, he's your playmaker. He's your Blake Jarwin. He's your, stretch the defense down the field. He's your yak guy, okay? But do you have a mauler as a blocker?
No.
You do not.
No, you don't.
Neither one of those two players I've mentioned strike fear in anyone's heart when it comes to lining up in the run game and bursting through the chest plate of an opposing guy. That's a Darnell Washington who...
He's huge.
He's a specimen, but also he's a specimen who's a mauler as a blocker. And the Cowboys, we all know the Cowboys, they want to run this football, okay? But he can also occasionally make the big play down the field.
Yeah,
and if he improves upon that ability and adds that to what he already has as a run blocker, what he already has as a physical specimen, my goodness, if you combine him with Ferguson and Henderson.
You know what? I'm with you. I will retract my previous statement.
Oh!
If Darnell Washington is available, there's no way Double J passes on him.
There you go.
He seems like
Air
a Jerry
five.
guy, right?
He's a Jerry guy. He's not passing on a physical specimen. Jerry. He's like, got dog.
Gotta have it.
Hey, Will, make the call.
I tell you,
Will make the call. Look at that dude right. He's 6'7", 270 pounds. God dog. You put him right at the end of that line of scrimmage, right there next to Tyron Smith, and I tell you what, he can go out there and grab that ball. He gonna make plays for us. Move the doggone chain.
Make the call and salt the McGriddle.
He's a weapon in the red zone. He's a weapon in the run game.
Yep.
He's bigger than anybody that's going to guard him.
He's 6'7", 270.
He's 40 pounds heavier than anybody that's going to be on him.
The one
and you're not tipping your hand when he's in the game, because if you're a defensive coordinator, if you think, oh well, Darnell's in the game, this is going to be a run play. Okay, well then it becomes a release and he's up the field, and now it's him versus a safety or a DB. Not even fair. High point that ball and it's a reception. The
one thing that I think I think he does fit here, because like you said, Hendershot's your receiver. Jake Ferguson's your all-around guy. Darnell Washington's going to be your mauler. He's going to be your bulldozer. Because Jake Ferguson's your best blocker on the roster right now. Don't even give me Sean McEwen. That's not Sean McEwen's not a good blocker. If Peyton Hendershot can possibly get it done when need be, and Darnell Washington, even though he's better as a blocker than he is as a receiver, he can be a receiver and he can be that changeup. The one thing I had against Darnell Washington with him at Georgia was a lot of the times with Georgia, they were putting games away early. Mm-hmm. He was more so a changeup than he was a game plan. He wasn't the game plan of what the Dogs did. The Dogs were so good
Brock on the team
all the way
through.
The
game plan is Brock.
The game plan was everybody else. The game plan was okay, let's get it to our playmakers, and then you know what, when we need to change things up, here's Darnell Washington. And oh my goodness, he was able to play exceptionally whenever he got the ball in his hands because he was not the game plan.
Right.
Teams were trying to load out to stop other things. I like the way he plays the game downhill. I like the way he moves and shines as a blocker, but he also shines as a receiver. The one thing I have is that he wasn't a featured piece in this offense. The way that Dak Prescott plays the game, he likes to feature tight ends. You've seen it with Dalton Schultz. You've seen it with Blake Jarwin. You've seen it with Jason Witten at times. Even in the early years, they like to feature tight ends. Can he be a featured guy? That's my one concern. I think he can, but I just want to keep an eye on it. I haven't seen it.
Like we mentioned earlier, you don't know until you know.
Correct.
That's fair. And I guess I would counter that with, and it's not a full counter as much as it is an asterisk on what you're saying, because you're not wrong, but you know that Jake Ferguson is, as we have this conversation, the feature. So he's 1A.
Okay.
Peyton Hendershot is 1B as the feature. So you'll get feature plays from Darnell, and it won't be entirely dissimilar from when he had to share the spotlight with Brock, who is, to me, the best tight end in the country. So when you have to share that spotlight on that stage, and now you're coming into another big stage having to share the spotlight, my point is he's not unfamiliar with that scenario, and that he's not often going to be game planned for on a weekly basis by the Cowboys, but he knows to stay ready when it's time for his number to be called as far as making the play down the field. He doesn't tune out mentally. He doesn't get down on himself mentally and say, well, you know what? Well, I was the man at Georgia. You mean I'm going to have to play second or third? No,
that doesn't worry me at all.
Right, he's used to being complimentary. He's going to maul, and then when he gets his number called, he's like, ready to go, and then maul, ready to go. So he's acclimated to that.
So would Ferguson be your number one? Darnell Washington's your number two tight end?
I would argue, yeah.
So
I would argue, yeah.
My counterpoint to that is, are you going to spend a second-round pick on a number two tight end
when it's Darnell Washington?
That's where I have pause there.
Because you have to.
I want a number one tight end. I want somebody that's going to be better than Jake Ferguson. And I'm not knocking Jake Ferguson. He was a fourth-round pick last year for a reason. They had three other names in the fourth round that they liked better than Jake Ferguson last year, and I know that for a fact. The fact of the matter is Ferguson had a great rookie season, but is he ready to take over right now as tight end number one? We haven't seen it yet. I think he could, but there's guys that are out there right now in this class that are better than him.
Here's what I would say. What if it's a situation where, because again, we can only talk about what we know at the moment. As we have this conversation, even if Darnell Washington is the pick in the second round, you're not going to say immediately that he's going to beat out Jake Ferguson, because you saw what Jake Ferguson was able to do last season.
Sure.
Right? He's a key reason Dalton Schultz is not here anymore. Okay? So
both of those guys, Ferguson and Hendershot. Yep.
So at the moment, Jake Ferguson has the throne. I think we could agree that Darnell could challenge for the throne.
He could.
As early as this training camp, but here's where it would either go in Darnell's favor as TE1 or Jake's favor as TE1. Who's the better pass catcher? And at the moment, the better and more refined pass catcher is Jake.
Jake Ferguson. Yep.
So, but I say that to say, who knows if that remains the case over the course of 2023 or in year 2 in 2024. Maybe Darnell takes those strides, which will be expected, especially under the tutelage of a guy like Lunda Wells. You're going to take strides as a pass catcher.
I trust him, and I trust that staff to utilize
what
them,
if I told you that you could spend a second-round pick on Darnell Washington, get that physical freak of a man who's a mauler in the run game, who can get you the downfield plays when called upon, will never mentally check out. He might be TE2 in 2023, but the potential of being tight end 1, or at least constantly battling with Jake for that for the next 3 years. I'd sign up for that.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I'd sign up for that.
So
what do you think?
You threw the alley-oop to me because you know my guy Linda Wells. That's my dude.
Yeah.
And he is probably the most undervalued coach on this roster outwardly. Saying, I guess, in the general public. Okay,
I think he's starting to finally get
the credibility he deserves.
Yeah.
He very well should.
Yeah,
because every tight end you throw in that room gets developed.
They've been great. Yeah,
drafted or undrafted, they get developed and then they play. Okay, so
Hendershot.
Yeah,
undrafted.
So they need to go ahead and put some respect on his name. Continue to do so. If you were to go ahead and take Mr. Washington, I know we're talking about TE1,
and this is if he's available at 58.
I don't
he's
see
a
him
good
being
enough
available.
prospect.
I don't see him being available.
Not even going to be there.
I put that on the table. I don't see him being available. I hope he is. Okay, but I don't see a physical specimen.
Crazier
like that.
things have happened. You're not wrong, but crazier things.
Absolutely. It's the draft. One thing about sports, you can't teach speed, but you can teach technique.
Okay.
You can't teach a mauler, but you can teach somebody how to catch. So if we're looking at options, I can't teach 6'6", 6'7", 270, 265 pounds. I can't teach that.
No, you're either that or you're not.
I can't teach that size coupled with a dog mentality to block. Can't teach that.
And the athleticism.
I can't give you want to. Right? So you got the physicality, you got the physical size, you got the stature, and you got the mentality. I can't teach that. But you know what I can teach? I can take your butt out here in these jugs all day long.
Yep.
And show you how to catch the ball better.
Those hands up.
Soften them hands up. We can work on
what
that.
Dalton Schultz had to do for a long time. Every time he was here in the early parts of his career, and even later, we saw it out there. Even the last couple years, he was the last one on the jugs.
Absolutely.
Every day.
So when
he
you're
was the last one out.
So when you're looking at the type of guys that you're going to be asking them to block, I would much rather have a man of that stature and that mentality to be able to handle that in the running game and then be able to call whatever pass game I want to off of it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Look at the NFC East defensive lines and defensive fronts.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Man, if Darnell is there, you get Darnell and you send him out to George Kittle University to get those hands softened up a little bit, and he can be a problem. I get excited thinking about the probability or the possibility of teaming him with a playmaker like Hendershot, with an all-around guy who can do it like Jake Ferguson, and throwing those three, making a three-headed hydra, throwing them all on the field in training camp over the next 2 to 3 years and saying, who wants it more?
Get after it.
Because if you know anything, and what we've learned about both Jake and Peyton, those are hyper-competitive guys. They're besties and everything, but they're doing it the right way, but they're hyper-competitive against each other, and Darnell is as well. So when you throw that in, the question is, well, will Darnell be your TE1? He can be, but so can Jake. No. But in a couple years, maybe so can Peyton. And they're just throw them out there and let them fight for it. And while they're fighting for it, guess what you're getting from as Dak Prescott? 3 security blankets. You're also getting a fantastic run blocker in Darnell Washington. And if you're the opposing defensive coordinator, if any 2 or 3 of those players are on the field, who's the ball going to?
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about just yet the Brandon Cooks and the CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup possibly having a resurgent year, and then Tony Pollard back healthy and everything. Just from a tight end standpoint, 2 tight end set, are you sure that just because Darnell is on the field that it's a run play? No, you're not.
Nope.
I love it.
Yeah. No, it provides the ultimate change-up if he ends up there at 58.
Do you think that he's there?
No.
Do you think he's there?
I think he's a top 45
player. I don't think he's there.
Yeah,
but again, stranger things have happened.
He's a great player. Yeah. And teams might be scared of this. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here because teams might be scared of it.
Every team can use a tight end.
They may also be infatuated with it, and they may just snatch him like that.
But I would also say, as much as we are praising Darnell Washington, and rightfully so, I don't think any of us has him ranked as the number one guy.
Nope.
In the title. So
there's a lot of other options.
Right. So we're sitting here, we're saying this, and we know that other teams understand Darnell Washington's value and potential and ceiling as well. But those other teams also know that Darnell Washington is not the best in the class, which means first those bests have to come off the board. And I think that's when the Cowboys might have a shot. Might be a long shot, but I don't think it's as long as you think.
He's my tight end number 5. And I have 4 guys in front of him, 2 first-round grades, and Dalton Kincaid from Utah, Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. And then I have 3 second-round grades. Luke Musgrave right at the top of the second round from Oregon State. And then one player in between, who I'll tell you in a second, and then Darnell Washington. The one player in between.
It's possible.
It is possible. Actually, I have right now, and this is going to change between now and draft weekend, I have him as 55 on my board total. So he's a top 55 player, and we pick at 58. It's possible.
Move up and get him.
He's probably going to move up, period, I think.
If he's there at 50, if he's there at 50, get on the phone. Get on the phone. If he's there at 50.
The guy that's in between and is another guy that's a mauler, and I think because of the traits of Darnell Washington, he actually has a better chance at falling to you. Sam Laporta from Iowa. I like Sam Laporta. Yeah. He's a downhill bulldozer, too. Probably not. He's not the physical specimen. Nobody is.
But
Darnell Washington
a blue-collar player.
Exactly.
But he's from Iowa.
Yeah, they
Iowa boys get
churn them out. Yeah. All right, let's take our second break. When we come back, we're going to quickly hit some day 3 potentials coming back right after this on Talkin Cowboys.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Lil Sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Lil Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys? Jack Black. Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
For one night only, music legends Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks will perform at AT&T Stadium on Saturday, April 8th, 2023. Tickets are on sale right now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium. You guys know what else is on sale right now?
What's that?
How about the Dallas Cowboys official Star Magazine draft guide? Look at this cover. This is phenomenal.
Yes.
So you've got Bijan Robinson, you've got Quentin Johnston from TCU, you have Christian Gonzalez from Oregon, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Ohio State, and Tyree Wilson.
I really don't like seeing the Oregon stuff. But you know what? I'm okay.
Sorry, dude,
I'm okay with him.
We had a Washington player in the past.
I'm okay with him because my daughter ran track with his sister last year. They were on the same relay team, and his other 2 sisters train out of my facility. So they're local Dallas people.
He's from the Colony, played at the Colony High School, which for those of you who don't know the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, it's about 10 minutes from where we are right now here at the Star. So right down the street. Probably not going to be there for the Cowboys at 26, but we like him anyways.
Chance.
Yeah, he's probably gone way, way, way before that. Here's kind of the reason why all these guys are on the front. They have Texas connections. So we have this Texas Connection article, really nicely done by Jeff Sullivan. Then things get real special. How about No Guarantee? This is by Patrick Walker. Special edition of the Science Lab.
Get it?
What?
Science, baby.
All day long.
It rules.
It's science.
We have a first round draft, mock draft, and then we have scouting reports for every position. How about that? And I put together these rankings and
put a
these
cougar
scout
on there?
reports.
Somebody put a cougar in that book.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
There's a cougar in that car.
Yeah, there's a lot of them throughout. So
Don't follow me like that, huh?
Yes, science.
yes, science. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of cool stuff. You can get this online. There is a digital copy available as well. So
Do it.
for those of you who don't want the
Where do you
actual
get it at, Kyle?
physical magazine. DallasCowboys.com.
That's right.
Isaiah, you got to say it in the Arnold voice. Do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now.
I have tweeted out a couple links too, so if you want to go on my Twitter, it's
repost that
there.
for you, Kyle.
Cowboys Twitter has posted it as
I
well.
quote tweeted it. Yeah.
Really, really cool magazine.
Are you paying for your check mark?
No.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, I'm not paying for it, if that gives you an idea.
Take it and get it over with.
Yep. Nope. I have. Yep. No. But yeah. So there you go. So that's your draft magazine that you have to go and enjoy, have some fun. Are you paying for your check mark?
No, I ain't paying for my check mark. I will draw a check mark on there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, go get you a copy. It's really cool. I recommend having the physical copy outside of the
I'm
digital.
nostalgic like that.
I like
I'm
having
nostalgic.
them. I have them all stacked up on my desk.
Yeah.
You will be the smartest one at the draft party.
No doubt. No doubt. This is my 4th year contributing to the draft magazine.
And you're awesome.
3rd year doing all of the bios. I'm pretty proud of what's in here.
You're
I think
awesome.
This is really
You
cool
should
stuff.
be proud, dude. It's magnificent.
Good stuff. All right.
And for those that are behind the scenes and who has seen Kyle putting this work in, then you know exactly what it took for him to be able to get you guys this product. So get it, learn, and like Isaiah said, be the smartest person in the room when the draft rolls around.
And we put some secrets in here too, just so you know. You got to figure out what those secrets are, but they're in here.
A little treasure hunt.
A little bit. All right. Let's say the Cowboys have offensive line, tight end, and linebacker out of the way in the first 3 rounds. They hit their needs hard.
Bam.
Boom. Out of the way.
Thank you, man.
Where are you going next in day 3 real quick before we wrap things up? D-line. Okay. D-line.
Interior. D-line.
Interior D-line.
Interior.
Okay.
Put somebody back behind Big Hankins.
Okay.
So you want a nose tackle.
I want a nose tackle.
You don't want a 3 technique.
No, I
you want a 1.
I want a 1. A 0. I want a
true nose.
I want a
you
big
need the T-bar too?
I want a Gilbert Brown.
You want nose to nose.
I want a Gilbert Brown. Big Nat Sam Adams.
Very nice.
Because when Hankins goes out, I don't want teams to feel like they have an advantage.
I'm with that. And
keep them fresh too.
And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about day 2, day 3, there's more than one pick on day 3. So if you get that IDO, that's great. But if we're talking about somebody that I really want or a position I really want, where's my developmental quarterback? Right? Let me get my developmental quarterback. And I'm looking at someone like a Clayton Tune in the 6th.
Love it.
Something like that.
I don't know if he's going to last to the 6th.
I don't know either, but if he's available, and as a flyer, absolutely.
I'd take him as early. What did I have?
Would you go 5th? Would you go 5th on 2?
Yeah, yes. I have. Oh man,
I love talking to him.
I'm a lot higher on Tune than most people. I like Tune a lot as a developmental guy. I have him as a top 150 player. I have him as a 4th round pick.
Really high.
I have him early 4th.
Okay, I'm strong on Tune.
Yeah,
I'm not
pretty high
that high on Tune though. I'd be willing to go as early as a 5th on him, but I'm circling 6th as far as when I would.
So there's
preferably
there's like 3 tiers of quarterbacks.
Not going quarterback at 4th. I know what you're thinking.
No,
don't you do it?
No,
don't you do it?
There's 3 tiers of quarterbacks. There's the first round guys that are C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. Then I've got a second tier of guys that's Hendon Hooker. Actually, it's just Hendon Hooker in the second tier. And then the third tier of guys is a jumbled mess of Jake Haener from Fresno State, Clayton Tune from Houston, Tanner McKee from Stanford. A lot of teams are really high on Tanner McKee. Some people even had him mocked in the first round. A lot of people like him. I had him pretty high, but not that high. And then Max Duggan from TCU is in that third tier as well. So lots to look forward to with some developmental quarterbacks. I think there are some good ones in there.
There is, most certainly. So, yeah, give me my developmental quarterback. You got Cooper Rush back, and, kudos to that because it also helps avoid a glaring need, right? And then you got Will Greer who will battle with Cooper Rush. But, Cooper Rush, he's not getting any younger, and you want to see another step forward from Will Greer, or that developmental quarterback might end up taking that spot. So Will Greer's going to have to fight for his spot as well, and he understands this. So yeah, developmental quarterback. Jerry Jones says he wants to do it, so I would not expect that day 3 would expire without it being done. So I hear you talking, Mr. Jones. Show me.
Show it.
Oh,
there you go. If you don't like the result,
Jerry Maguire, huh?
What do you say? If you don't like the result, then what?
Change it.
Change it, baby. Time to change it with the NFL draft. We'll have more draft talk as we continue along, and we'll continue to get better at outlining what the Cowboys want. We'll probably know a lot more of the names from the 30 visit by the time we get around next week as well. So that does it for us. Here on Talkin Cowboys, got to wait another week. Next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Central Time. We'll get right back at it. For Chris Beam, for Isaiah Stanback, for Patrick Nosey Walker, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long here from the Star in Frisco and Talkin Cowboys. We'll see you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?